XCW Rundown. Of course, today we'll be running down all the events from Glory, talk about some matches for Allegiance, and in today's XCW Xtra, we'll see Corey Lee taking on DTC and Brogan O'Shea in a huge triple threat. But let's get to Glory, which started off hot as Jay Ellis would call out former tag team partner and a man he considered a brother to him, J.J. Kelty. Jay Ellis said it was on site and that's what they tried to do, but Chris Jones would intervene and decide that a tag team match would be set up. Jay Ellis would have to find someone to team with him, and J.J. Kelty would have to find someone who would be willing to team with him after what he did to Jay Ellis. Into the first match of the night, which saw Brogan O'Shea taking on Void. Of course, Void got the upper hand at Cold Day in Hell, so Brogan O'Shea was looking to even up the score, and that is exactly what he did. Not in the usual Brogan O'Shea way, though. We saw him use a top rope maneuver to defeat Void, and you can tell as Brogan O'Shea landed, the wind was knocked out of Void. Right along, though, up next, where we saw Patrick O'Reilly taking on Evan Phoenix with the #1 contendership on the line for the XCW World title. Both men thought they had a stake to it, and Patrick O'Reilly would win this match, but it would be by disqualification after a surprise return of none other than former commentator Luke Blaze. Him and Evan Phoenix beat down Patrick O'Reilly, and Blaze claimed he needed to find someone to bring up from the ashes, and he found that with Evan Phoenix. These two men, both Evan and Patrick, would go on to later on they'll be in the main event with Kurt Acid and Jesse Justice, so of course we'll get to that later on. But let's move into the STFU segment, of course hosted by Corey Lee, and the guest would be none other than Royalty. Fletch claiming that nobody was willing to step up to Royalty for Allegiance, but that's when Tommy Merriman answered his challenge with a team of Tommy Merriman, Blackheart, Void, and Brogan O'Shea. Still an even 4-on-4. That's when Fletch revealed to have former Royalty member, the returning DTC, as his fifth. And after a little brawl incurred with Tommy's team standing tall, Corey Lee would announce that he would be returning to team up with Team Tommy at Allegiance. And when we get back from this commercial break, we'll have Corey Lee joining us to discuss what led to him deciding to return for this match. Back from our first commercial break, and like I said, we have none other than Corey Lee joining us, who announced during his STFU segment that he will return at Allegiance to join Team Tommy. Corey, what sparked this sudden change of heart for you to come back to the ring?
Well, I decided that, all this talk during STFU and being mocked about my retirement and then talking about putting me on retirement, I thought, maybe this one time I could just decide to help Tommy. I'll be a nice guy. I'll just help Tommy and decide to fight Royalty one more time like I did back in the old day, and maybe this time put them out for good.
You've had issues in the past, like you kind of referred to there, with Tommy Merriman and Brogan O'Shea, who will both be on your team at Allegiance. So, what makes you think that these two have changed and won't just turn their back on you, especially when Tommy has teamed with Fletch before?
Well, I can see Tommy's had a bit of a change of heart now, especially turning down Fletch, which is surprising to me. I didn't think he... But Fletch, and I think maybe Tommy's on the right side this time. Maybe Tommy will do some good for once. And for Brogan O'Shea, after his match with Chris Jones at Ceramania and, passing of the torch and stuff like that, I think think maybe he finally sees the light now too as well.
Definitely have to see. And you mentioned your retirement being mocked. So is Allegiance just like a one-time thing for you? You want to end royalty for good? Or is there maybe one last stretch run for you?
No, I think Allegiance is going to be it, pretty much it, because this is just a one-time thing. They needed a teammate. There was nobody else that's going to be able to fill that hole, so I decided to be on the team.
All right, one last question. When are you going to turn STFU and pass it on to me and make it ACTV?
I don't know if that'll ever happen. I feel like maybe just the STFU will probably be a standard in the XCW, so I can still have some, so I can still be around.
All right, well, good luck to you at Allegiance and, of course, your team as well, trying to put royalty to an end for good. And we're going to cut to one final commercial break. We'll get back, run down the rest of the card, and, of course, our huge triple threat featuring Corey Lee, DTC, and Brogan O'Shea. Back from that final commercial break, and of course a thank you to Corey Lee for joining us today. Let's move right along. That saw Deacon Storm taking on Brady Branson in a title match, non-title, sorry about that. Trendy Parker claimed she was going to do whatever it takes for Deacon Storm to earn some fair opportunities, and maybe an opportunity awaits him. After Deacon didn't really know what was going on, Trendy Parker would knee Brady Branson, and Deacon would, of course, use that Storm 0 to finish Brady off, and later on, Deacon seemed absolutely confused as he tried to return the United States Championship to Brady Branson, to a little frustration from Brady as he believes this is all a plot between Deacon Storm and his manager, Trinity Parker. But let's move right along. Of course, I said Jay Ellis and J.J. Kelty would have to find tag team partners for the night. Jay Ellis would go to New Age champion Miano Diaz. Meanwhile, J.J. Kelty would find none other than DJ Wolbert. However, it would be Miano Diaz and Jay Ellis walking away victorious. But we do know at Allegiance, Miano Diaz and DJ Wolbert will face off in a ladder match with the New Age Championship on the line. Will Miano Diaz get one step closer to a international / United States Championship title opportunity, or will we see DJ Wolbert bring that New Age Championship back to the dark side? And then, of course, J.J. Kelty and Jay Ellis will look to settle things in a street fight. Will Jay Ellis get to put J.J. Kelty in his past and move on, or will J.J. Kelty show that true cold-hearted side of his? Next up, we had another tag team match. Of course, Law Enforcement took on myself and my tag team partner, S.2 the tag team champions. Knowledge is power. And you know, it looked like Law Enforcement was out to get a title opportunity, but the only thing they were going to be enforcing at Glory was a loss, as a Dragon Sleeper Frog Splash combo from myself and S.2 resulted in us picking up a win and begging the opportunity of, is there anyone in the tag team division? Because all it seems like Jackson does is lose opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and meanwhile, Jaden does nothing. He beat Evan Phoenix, and that was it. Anyways, though, let's get right along. Before the next match, we're going to go something interesting. Emily Moore, sorry about that, was talking to Fletch and Hayden Vex before their big handicap match against Tommy the Man Merriman. This is where Fletch believed they were rudely interrupted by a newbie to the XCW Galaxy, Hunter Houken, who all he wanted to do was introduce himself. Just wanted to say, hey guys, I'm here. Fletch took offense to this and believes he might have a problem with Hunter. So we're going to have to see, is Fletch's focus 100% on Allegiance, or is he worried about a pest in Hunter Houken? Now, let's get to fellow Royal teammate Psychor defending his Hardcore Championship against Blackheart in a rematch. Of course, Hardcore Championship, Hardcore rules apply. And these two men absolutely delivered. At one point, Psychor playing the tunes to the beat of a guitar, smashing it over Blackheart's head. But in the same way Psychor won the title, Blackheart would get the title back, using a TV to slam Psychor head first through and take back the Hardcore Championship. Now Psychor heads into Allegiance with no championship. Meanwhile, Blackheart has that Hardcore Championship back around his waist. Of course, now that handicap match, like I mentioned, Fletch and Hayden Vex taking on Tommy Merriman. Of course, you'd assume Fletch and Hayden Vex had the advantage, 2-on-1. Throughout the match they did, Fletch breaking up pins, using 2-on-1 offenses. But it would be Tommy Merriman getting the victory, and then that would bring out royalty. That would bring out Team Tommy, and it would be Team Tommy standing tall. So not only did Psychor lose his Hardcore Championship to Blackheart, Tommy Merriman beat Fletch and Hayden Vex. Where does this leave royalty heading into Allegiance? Team Tommy has all the momentum. Meanwhile, royalty's just looking for a gasp of hope. Now, the main event, after both Evan Phoenix and Kurt Acid believed they had rightful claim to the XCW Championship, Patrick O'Reilly believing the same thing, all three men would get a shot at Jesse Justice in that XCW Championship in a fatal four-way match. At one point, we saw Kurt Acid get desperate, using a tornado DDT to take out Jesse Justice, but this wouldn't be enough. Phoenix would go on to hit the Phoenix Driver, and he began to celebrate. without even pinning. Thought he had the match won, but Jesse Justice would crawl over and get the pin to successfully retain his championship. That is all from Glory, but we have some huge announcements for Allegiance, of course. That big 5-on-5. Team Tommy with Tommy Merriman, Void, Brogan O'Shea, Blackheart, and the returning Corey Lee taking on Royalty, Fletch, Emily Moore, Psychor, Hayden Vex, and the returning DTC in a huge 10-man elimination tag team match. Also, Miano Diaz looking to successfully defend his New Age Championship against DJ Wolbert in a ladder match. Then, of course, that huge street fight. JJ Kelty, Jay Ellis, former partners, brothers, turned rivals. But make sure you stay tuned for the triple threat here on our XCW Extra. DTC, Corey Lee, Brogan O'Shea, all in the same ring.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another XCW Extra here on the Rundown. And we have a very special match coming up for you here today. A triple threat match with two XCW Hall of Famers and a surefire future Hall of Famer in Brogan O'Shea. And our first man up right now coming to the ring is a legend all of himself, a 2022 Hall of Fame inductee. We're talking about none other than DTC back in action.
And DTC just made his return to XCW, aligning with Royalty for that huge 5-on-5 tag team match at Allegiance. And you mentioned DTC is a original Royalty member.
Absolutely. Not only is he an original Royalty member, but he's an original in XCW. As of this week, ladies and gentlemen, XCW is celebrating its 20th year after our debut on March 8, 2003. DTC was one of those men who was in the trenches in the early days, and when there was only 8 people on the roster. DTC was one of those men, and it's come full circle for DTC to be put in the Hall of Fame and be a part of XCW 20 years later. And we await our second man here as this triple threat match, this special match here on XCW Extra. And I'm excited to see how this match is going to go. We've seen some of the matches back and forth over the years between Corey Lee and Brogan O'Shea. And now we have an opportunity to see DTC added to the mix. And with some of the style of DTC and some of the things that DTC has done over the years, he's combustible. He could literally pull out anything at any time. A different style from all three of these men. A more, technical style of diehard Corey Lee. Then you've got DTC, who is more of a high flyer, and you've got the brawling style of the Rambler Brogan O'Shea. Talk about Styles Clash. You have 3 ways of Styles Clash in this very match.
And you mentioned Corey Lee and DTC already being Hall of Famers. Brogan O'Shea, of course, a future Hall of Famers. He's someone who's basically done everything in XCW. One of the most improved superstars XCW has seen since its beginning. But here we see joined by the final man in this triple threat match, diehard Corey Lee.
And it's interesting to be able to recall this match right now because diehard Corey Lee and DTC are going to be on opposing sides at XCW Allegiance here in just a couple of weeks.
Brogan O'Shea is on the opposing side of DTC, meanwhile on the same team as Corey Lee. So, maybe a preview to what Allegiance is going to be like.
And Corey Lee, a man who's he's no stranger to the match of the Allegiance match, as he was one of the survivors of last year's Allegiance match, alongside DJ Wolbert and Chris Jones, as they knocked off Fletch's other team, Vengeance.
Fletch is going to be in that match again this year, this time leading Royalty. So, Fletch and Corey Lee both have the experience on their side in Allegiance, and one would assume that Corey Lee and DTC have the experience in this match.
Absolutely. And, it's funny to look back. Corey Lee even won the very first Allegiance that he was a part of. He was on a winning team. The XCW team, as they faced off against EBW. And right off the bat, an FML, DTC back to his feet, goes right for the arm bar here, or the arm wrench, and Corey Lee trying to get out of it, and nip up, and reverses the pressure on DTC. Brogan O'Shea on the outside of the ring. And there we go. There's the high-flying style of DTC, just as we talked about.
You know, and it looks like he's targeting that arm early of Corey Lee. Corey Lee, well known for his multiple submissions that he has in his arsenal. By targeting that arm, DTC takes away some of those submission attempts.
And DTC with a head scissors takeover there, and he goes right again, like you said, working back on that arm.
It looks like Corey Lee finally back to his feet and takes DTC to the mat, and now looking to target that knee to take away that high-flying ability that DTC has been known for.
That's a smart veteran move from Corey Lee. Now Corey Lee, German suplex, the DTC grounding him. What does Corey Lee have in mind here?
Like he's going to kick DTC to the outside, and Brogan O'Shea back into the ring. And you know, these two men have had their history, so they are no strangers to each other.
Yeah, we can't forget SummerMania 15. These two were in a brutal ladder match for the XCW International Championship. And there's a big spine buster from Brogan O'Shea. 1, 2, and a kick out for Corey Lee.
You know, Brogan O'Shea, he has to keep Corey Lee grounded. You'd think he'd know this with the background these two men have had. But Corey Lee looks like he's going to get back in control with a huge chop, knocking Brogan O'Shea off his feet.
There's this, as people say, the educated feet. And Corey Lee definitely has those educated feet. Speaking of educated feet, DTC could steal one here, 2, and a kick out. And Brogan O'Shea's not in a good position here. The 3-1-7. Knocking Brogan right off his feet. DTC with another head scissor takeover. A Hurricane Rana. 1, 2, and a kick out. Looks like Corey Lee might have saved the match there.
You know, Corey Lee back into the ring. There he is, right back to those educated feet.
Irish whip from Corey Lee to DTC off the ropes, and a huge clothesline. Almost knocked DTC out of his trunks there.
And right now, Corey Lee is in full control. Brogan O'Shea on the outside. Corey Lee looked like he was going to take over.
And another kick out once again after the butterfly suplex from DTC. Brogan O'Shea slowly coming back into the fray here.
You know, all three men not on their feet right now. Whoever gets their feet first, you have to assume they can take control of this contest.
There's an FML from Corey Lee, but will it be enough as Brogan O'Shea gets back to his feet? A little bit of a cheap shot, but he's going for the last. Oh, Corey gets out of it. What's going to happen here? 1, no. Oh, double foot stomp down on Brogan O'Shea. High octane action here, just non-stop in this match.
It looks like Corey Lee's going to continue that high octane offense as he's heading to the top rope.
The coup de grace down on Brogan O'Shea. Could this be enough? 1, 2, and it is. Corey Lee pulls out another match here, defeating both Brogan O'Shea and DTC on this XCW Extra.
Corey Lee with a momentum boost heading into his in-ring return at Allegiant as he will team up with Tommy Merriman, Brogan O'Shea, Boyd, and Blackheart to take on Royalty.
And of course, the Royalty team is consisted of Fletch, Cycord, DTC, Hayden Bex, and Emily Moore. It's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be the craziest 5-on-5 Allegiance I think ever. And these three men will all be a part of this match, and you see the respect there, but it may not be the same come 2 weeks at Allegiance. Until next time, we'll see ya.